Hey, it's Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com. It's Monday, it's February 6th. This will be our chart lesson for the day, and really a quiet day today. Today was a range day. It wasn't even a very big range. We did get we got a short trend up, and then a little short trend down, and then, this isn't hardly worth fooling with here. So, that's the last couple of days. Friday, late afternoon was similar to this, pretty weak. So the volatility is really dropping, and this is why I like trading the mornings. You see, we had some movements in the morning, and as the day progresses, the movement really slows down. So, but you can see your overnight high up here, your overnight low, and most all your trading's within that. And I had a pretty good idea that this would be a range day by the regular open this morning. So if soon after the open prices are still trading within the overnight highs and lows and not trending very strongly, which this is not a very strong trend, then odds are we're probably looking at a range day. And people will say, well, how do you know that? What clues? Well, we talk about them every day. The main thing is prices are within the overnight high and low. Prices are swinging back and forth above and below the EMA. And experience. When you start to see that every day, you start to recognize what's going on. So I'm going to back out here a little bit, but that's how you can tell by experience, and it's hard to explain it other than just I tell people just give it time, you'll start to see it. But those are the clues, and they're right here on this chart. You ought to be able to see them. You can see how that EMA looks flat right there. Now, early this morning it was just starting to go flat, but that was just the fact that we're between the overnight highs and lows and not trending. If we were still continuing to go lower, we would have been outside the overnight low, and that probably would have led you to think, hey, it looks like it's going to be a downtrend day. So, and none of that's written in stone. It can change. We could have been like this, and we could have found a high here and then trended down again for the day. And actually, once we started going lower here, I would measure this first leg just like so. And once we headed lower, I'd look for a possible measured move, which puts his prices way down here. But when we couldn't get down there and get below the overnight low, that's just one more clue that, hey, it's probably a range day. Otherwise, we probably would have got at least a measured move there. So, but that would have given you a target to be working towards anyway. So, but let's talk about the trades. There's not a whole lot of them today. So we'll talk about the trades and probably won't take long today. But when I came in, we were trending down relatively strongly. And we went right through that original overnight low real strongly, pulled back to that trend line. You can see that real clear trend line working right down through there. And it's big bearish bar. The only reason that's green is because you're one or two ticks from the overnight low at that point. And so that's a little bit risky, but that is a key entry point. We're a good ways away from the EMA too. And most of your best entries are going to be when you pull back to those key entry points, and the better ones are when the trend line and the EMA are running congruently and at the same spot, kind of like what you see right here where they're both in the same spot, or if it's a real strong trend and like right here they're both in the same spot, your trend line and your EMA pretty much. So for that reason I only made that one green. And the only reason you still could almost argue for this one to be green. Look how far we are away from that EMA, but we don't have any break of this trend line yet. So I think it's too risky. I'll mark it green, but you're better off to wait on your reversal pattern, which comes here. Notice your new low. First entry, you get a measured move up, and a second entry, you actually get another higher low and another little trap there, but it hadn't broken higher yet, so it's not a failure until it breaks higher. And that's right there. So you might enter there, but the reason I don't like this one, it's not a good reversal pattern because we're not through the EMA yet, and you're going long right into it, and you can see we struggled to get through even though it did. So you're better off to wait until, and then it comes back and it makes another double bottom, and this is a double test of this level, and you get it went lower and turned and went out the other side. And so then I like going long. We had another pull back here. This actually pulls back and confirms what it looks like. I want to talk about this real quick. And I looked at this like a spiking channel because we were bouncing off this line. That really confirmed it. The only reason I didn't like going long there is because we couldn't break higher, and so it's right into that high. That's even though it worked, you got to be real careful of that. So we're just really going sideways here. So I was a little leery of it. But you could have looked at this two ways. I saw it as a spike and then a channel working up, and you see that channel is holding prices. The midline looks accurate. But if you used our normal rule and drilled off the first two swings, which is really right here, you can see that still fits. And we did get a break and two measured legs up. And you can see that first leg after you get a break. And then there's your measured leg. And we missed it maybe by a tick or two. So if you use our regular rules, you would have had a break and two legs up. Even if you use this one as a spiking channel, the only thing with that is you never got a retest of the high. So, but that would have led you to believe that generally, if you can't make a retest and a new high, that's telling you markets are really weak. So we may go, so you may get a pretty good move in the other direction, and using that measured leg and starting over here, that would at least keep you in this trade probably till we reach the overnight low where it did bounce. We actually pushed through it just a little bit, just enough to trap some people, and then it went higher from there. So yeah, you might have seen this either way, but I like that one for a long based on the double test and the fact that it was a failure once it actually the failure was over here. But I like this one because it's the double test, and it does, well, really you wouldn't have confirmed that trend line there, and that would have just been the first swing there. So, but I really like it because of the double test and the fact we went lower first, then went out the upside. So, and then if it would have ticked lower here, I might have liked entering here. But we already talked about why I didn't like that one. Even though it works, then it pulls back first entry, pull back second entry, and it's right there at that trend line. But we've already had a break and a new high, but it is still off the EMA as well. But if you're looking at the spiking channel, which is the one I was really leaning towards, we weren't back to the trend line yet. So it was a little bit risky. And so it's not a perfect setup, so I didn't like making it blue. And then it tries to go higher. Look at that double top, and it ticks one tick higher, gives you that big bearish bar. Generally, you're better off to wait on the lower high, but if you saw this as the steeper channel off the first two swings, you've got your break and two legs up. That probably would lead you to say, hey, I want to go short here. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't take that trade. If you were still looking at the spiking channel, you may not want to take that trade. And then, of course, you try to go up once, you try to go up twice. So there's a failed second entry long there, but you got to go short right into that double bottom. And if it's a spiking channel, we're probably going to get a retest attempt. So just sit tight. And what happens? It does bounce here again. But you get that little failed break lower, and then you get a nice bullish bar. So I like that one to go long. Looking for it to go for a retest, and you actually get two legs up. You don't see a break lower here, but there's one leg up, and then a little correction, and then a second leg up. And then we had lower again. I was hoping we'd get a second entry long here, but you get a reversal pattern instead. Look what happens. Pull back first entry, pull back, you get a second entry long. But again, you're going short right into these previous lows. So I wanted to see it confirm a trend coming down first, and you don't get that till here. And then it makes a little double top. So I like that one a little better. This one is still close to being green, but there was a trap, and we tried to go higher twice. If you entered there, I like adding on right here. And if you weren't in yet, when you saw this bearish bar, I like entering there. Your stop still has to go above that high though, right there. So that's one I kind of like to add on. And then you get another breakout pullback short with a big bearish bar. It would have gone without you most likely here. Notice there's no overlap between those two bars, but it does come back again and then go down. So you could have got filled on a limit order, but by that time it would have already been down here. So if you couldn't get filled right here on a stop below this bar, or as soon as it ticked lower, maybe a limit order, I probably would have skipped it. And it does come right back again. Notice there's a double top right there. So first entry long, second entry long. And you're looking for prices to probably test these lows right here. So there's your reversal trap and another bearish bar and quick easy move. And then we just kind of work sideways. It's tempting to try to go long here. Notice that new low, you get a first entry, pull back, second entry. So there's a failed second entry short right into that strong support. But when this one couldn't break higher, I was a little leery of it, right back into that EMA. You probably could argue for it to be green. But there's no break of this trend line yet either. So, but at this point, it's looking like the range is going to be the bigger pattern, especially when it fails real quick there. And then you get your reversal again right here. But look what happens. It just keeps going sideways. I don't think you should go long there. And then it turns down one more time and confirms that trend line. You draw it off those first two, and this confirms it. And so you might consider going along there. The reason that one's not blue and still green, because it's right at, look at all those highs right there. It's looking like a little trading range, and there's not much room. And you can see that line right there, and really I would have had it down to right here. So you're going long right into that. So that's a little concerning to be able to make that blue, especially right at 2 o'clock. It would have worked. And I'll leave it green, but I'm just not crazy about that entry. So really your last decent entry of the day was right around lunchtime, and then this wasn't hardly worth waiting around for. So it was like that Friday, really. It died late in the afternoon. You can see late in the afternoon we just didn't do anything. Look how tight that is across there. So it's hard to trade that stuff because you get locked in there and you can't get out with a profit. And the only way to get out almost is to take a tick or two loss. So it's not worth risking for that. When you get there's a chance you can get stuck going sideways in something real tight like that. So I don't think I would have risked that trade. I did mark it green because I wanted to talk about it because it does meet some of our criteria. So, but yeah, that's it for today. Just not a great trading day. I mean, we've had worse, but it's just not a great trading day. So, but I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back again and do it tomorrow. This is Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.